discussion, we are going to focus on how you can resolve issues. So, as I said, one of your responsibility as a network engineer is to be able to fix issues, or to be able to fix when something is broken, which in the industry we call it break and fix, or troubleshooting network related issues. But to be able to resolve issues, you have to be good with what we call OSI model. It's very, very important that you understand OSI model before you can think of troubleshooting. So this is the way network communicates, okay? So network communication falls under this. It starts from physical layer to application layer, which is what we see. So let's say you're able to access any resource, either through web or through client to server process, whatever the case may be. These 7 layers is what makes it possible for you to get that. So it gives you visual description of what is going on a particular network system. So every engineer should be able to narrow it down and be able to use this to solve issues, starting from the physical to application. So I'm going to go through them one by one. Then from there we will pick a real life scenario of what are the things you are going to solve. So the first one is the physical layer. When we talk of physical layer, we are relating to, let's say you have a computer. The computer connects to wall jack. From the wall jack, it goes through the ceiling. It goes to the patch panel. From the patch panel, it goes through the switch. So this is PC. This is a wall jack. This is a patch panel. And then this is the switch. Now, what is the physical component on this? Now, the PC itself is a physical component. The wall jack itself is a physical component. The cable connection is a physical component. The patch panel is part of the physical component. The switch are part of physical component. So all this, we call it layer 1 issues. Okay, so what do I mean by layer 1 issues? So now you know the device that form physical component. The physical device is what we mean by layer 1. And then the issues has to do with the device itself being defective, cable going bad, wall jack going bad, cable going bad, patch panel all going bad, and switch going bad. If all these are not working, your application will not be accessible. So when we talk of physical related issues, we are dealing basically about the hardware, which relate to the PC, the wall jack, all those things. So as a network engineer, before you think of checking the switch, you have to make sure that your layer 1 issues is overruled. That is the reason why when you get job, your first thing you have to do is to be able to trace the cable to the wall to the switch. How are you going to trace the cable to the switch? Meaning that you have to know how we read wall jack, you have to know how we read patch panel, then you can trace it to the switch. Now all this process, if they are not correct, then you have layer 1 issues. Then your application will not work, because if the PC has no power, it will not work. If the wall jack is defective, it will not work. If your cable is damaged, it will not work. If through the ceiling some mouse are enjoying themselves with a nice meal, it will not work. If the patch panel, you got a wrong person to do things anyhow, it will not work. If your switch is also down, it will not work. So you tell the desktop people, before you tell me it's a network issue, go through layer 1 issues. And this is what you mean by that. Checking the cable, checking the device, checking power, connectivity, and all that. That revolve under what? Layer 1 issues. So every engineer should know that. Then when we talk of layer 2, Layer 2 is talking about switch and a hub. And that means that you have moved from all these components, you are now focusing your attention on the switch. So in terms of layer 2 devices, even the hub, no, hub is on layer 1 because it doesn't have that intelligence. So there is an interview questions between what is the difference between switch and a hub. If you are talking of the difference, hub is layer 1 issues, layer 1 device, and a switch is layer 2 device. So keep that in mind. The difference between switch and a hub, one of the major difference, and you can Google the rest, is to make sure that hub works with layer 1, switch works with layer 2. So when it comes to layer 2, we are dealing with switches. And then in that situation, what are the issues on layer 2? Maybe you are not on the right port in terms of VLAN. Maybe the port is disabled. Maybe it's in error disabled. You don't have a trunk configured to have communication to the core switches. So these are what we call layer 2. So what am I teaching you under the OSI model? I'm teaching you towards the job. What it means is that you have to know the device that relates to layer 1 and the issues that are involved there. You have to know the device that relate to layer 2 and the issues that involves there. So layer 2 is more about VLAN, trunk, all those switching process. That is what we deal with in terms of layer 2. And that is what you have to think about, okay? Then when we talk of layer 3, we are talking of routers. Routers, multi-layer switches, firewall, they are all layer 3 devices. And that is what we call network layer. So we have physical layer, data link layer, and network layer. So devices under layer 3 is about routers, firewall, and multi-layer switch. I told you we have layer 2 switch and we have layer 3 switches. Layer 2 doesn't have routing capability, but layer 3 is the multi-layer switch. This is what you can use at the core layer, not the access layer, where you can configure your routing, OSPF, ERGRP. So examples of layer 3 devices is what I've spoken about. Now, what are the issues that come up on layer 3 that engineers should know? Routing issue. Let's say one network cannot communicate to another network because of routing. So that is something you have to know. ACL is on layer 3. IP address is on layer 3. So these are the things you have to know. So network engineer, your main focus is up to here, which we call hardware layers. You are for 1 up to 3. That is why their job title like layer 3 engineer, layer 2 engineer, or layer 1 and 2 engineer. So when we talk of layer 3 engineer, it means that you have somebody who will be dealing with core switches, routers. So you manage the one, and then the routing process, the ACL, all those things you are responsible for that. If you talk of layer 2 engineer, they are dealing with access level. So they make sure the access switches, the connectivity to users, they are good. So you have company where they've divided the role to have layer 3 engineers, layer 2 and layer 1. So that is something you have to keep in mind. Now the transport layer up to here is about firewall. So that is the reason why I said after this training you have to be good with firewall. So I'm going to communicate to those that so they are students, I think they are good to do firewall. They are students that I have to talk to you whether you have the time and availability to do the firewall so that it doesn't become waste of time, because that is going to be one-on-one class. So my firewall class in my next one is going to be one-on-one coaching class, which means that I'm not teaching. What I'm doing is more of teaching than coaching, because when somebody doesn't practice, I will not know. So let's say we come class Saturday and Sunday, then I tell you practice Monday to Friday, but some people don't practice at all. And how do I determine that? But the firewall, you are going to tell me this, you are going to practice, and I'm going to monitor you whether you are practicing. And if you are not practicing, I tell you, Chestero, are you serious? Do you understand what you signed to do this? And Monday you said you practice. I've made myself available and you are not doing it. Then you lose your money and I will not go with you. So that is the way I'm going to do my next class. Like even network. Anybody you want to bring to my class, tell the person it's no more like what I've taught you. It's one-on-one class, meaning that your time for practice will be monitored. So when you are practicing, somebody is monitoring you. So we are not going to have a group. Then if you are not doing what you are supposed to do, I will drop you on the first stage and not go to the second stage, because I want to make sure that if it's one-on-one coaching, nobody can finish without getting job. You have to finish and get job, because I have scrutinized you to the maximum level, and that is the class I want to have going forward. So even if I get 5 students, it's okay for me if they can get the result than to get students and then they do what they want. No, like some of you have not been feeling you, but hopefully after the class and the conversation ongoing, you can make a difference, because you still have time to make a difference. And I believe that if you go through that process I'm giving you and God on your side, there is no way you cannot get a job. There is no way. The job is always there. There is so many jobs that they are not getting people. So let's flow with what we are talking about to make progress. So what I'm trying to make here is, when you are resolving and you finish up to layer 3, tell them it's not network issue. It could be a firewall issue. It could be a software issue. It could be application issue. It could be so many things. You understand? So that could be an issue relating to server guys. It could be an issue relating to application guys. It could be an issue relating to firewall guys. And those things are the things that when you are done with firewall, you get to be able to isolate issues from here. So in our troubleshooting process, I'm going to focus on this. And if this doesn't resolve the issue, then you know for sure that you are dealing with something that is not networking. Are you all getting what I'm saying? Then you tell them that no, this is not a network issue. But you need evidence, you need proof to tell them that it's not a network issue. And that is what we are going to go through. So because of that, most of your interview questions, they are going to ask you, do you know the OSI model? Give me the list of the OSI model. And that is Physical Data Network Transport Session Presentation Application. Now, if this is a face-to-face interview, I designed this for you to make it easier for you, or even in an interview online, you can still use this to remember. So the please means physical, the do means data, the not means network, the throw means transport, the sausage means session, pizza means presentation, away means application. So please do not throw your sausage pizza away. It's a way to remember all your OSI model. Very simple. Please do not throw your sausage, your is not part. Please do not throw sausage pizza away. But don't go and answer it in a way where I heard somebody doing, please physical, do data, not network, through transport. I don't know why sometimes some people behave so funny and you feel like, is this person normal or what? I'm saying that keep this in your head. And in an interview, then the person asks him, what are you saying? Oh, I'm not following what you are saying. And he said, I'm giving you the OSI model. You don't act like that, guys. So don't act like that in an interview.
You don't gossip with them.
You said?
Those are people you don't gossip with. They will expose you.
But how will you know those people, my brother? How will you know? Sometimes it's very difficult. unless it comes to play like this, then you know that no, this person is not normal. It doesn't make sense. And this is how I got to know. The guy was complaining he was not getting job, and I told him, if that is the case, record one of your interviews and share with me. So your recruiter's interview or your hiring interview, any serious interview, record. And then when I listened with the first 10 minutes, I got mad and I stopped the whole process. And I called him, are you for real? remove all your resume. But the good thing is there are some people who listen when they are wrong. This guy I'm talking about is a serious engineer now, and I told him that, you know what, you are not ready for job at all. Take your resume down, remove it from don't even apply. Give yourself about 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and learn well, because what you are talking about is not right. So he listened to that, he took all off, and I think in a month's time he got a job. And he said, "Oh, Prof, I don't know why sometimes we don't listen to you when we are talking." And that is the life of regret. And this is what we all have to forget and cancel it. You have to cancel it in Jesus' name with this class. Okay?
Amen. Amen.
We can't live to regret, which means that I'm going to give you everything you need in order to get job and maintain your job. All you have to do is listen, and do it. Simple as ABC. And why am I so sure of what I'm telling you? And I'm saying that if you do that, you get job and you maintain your job. Because everything I'm telling you is not in the book. It's not on YouTube. This one, I sat down to draft it using my years of experience to teach you this. You will not get what I'm teaching in any book, any internet, anywhere. This is real life experience that over the years I've acquired, I'm sharing you to use. So why are you doubting it? Do you guys get what I'm saying? Or you have somebody here who think I've not worked as a network engineer before. You think I've not worked or what? What you are going to do is what I'm telling you to go and do it. Why don't you listen? Huh? Why don't you listen and do it and get peace of mind? But for some reason, we have people who want to punish themselves before they learn. You delay your progress. So please, everything I'm teaching you now till the end of the boot camp. The boot camp, I do it twice in a year, but I'm paying every month. I'm not stupid. No, I'm paying every month, keeping that lab, because I know when I teach you online and I don't send you to the lab, you will fail. That is why I'm doing that. So why will you say you will not come for boot camp and then you think you will get job? You try it and then you see that, this man said this, or this man said this, and I didn't listen. But I'm hoping that we are canceling what? The spirit of regret from this group. And the person who is going to lead that charge is Pastor Chestero, Osofo Chestero. Is the one who is going to lead us with our prayers to cancel that. Okay? So the bottom line I'm making here in everything I've spoken about is you cannot resolve any issue if you don't know this. You can't. And it's going to appear in an interview, and you need to apply that when you are working in your troubleshooting and everything, that you are dealing with OSI model, and you should know what is on layer 1, what is on layer 2, and what is on layer 3. What are the things to check? And that will be what I'm going to deal with you. And if this doesn't resolve it, know that it has to do with this. Now, transport layer is talking about TCP and UDP. Okay? And all this ports process you allow mostly on the firewall in terms of real life exposure. So if something is not working on application level in terms of a port not open, it means that it could be an issue with the transport layer. Then if the software is not working the way it's supposed to work, are you the one who designed the software? You are a network engineer. Why are you worrying yourself? Tell them fix that issue. It has nothing to do with you. So that is the item I'm going to go through with you going forward. So any question on OSI model? Yes, Chestero.
So probably say something about the switch becoming like a layer 1, and at the same time it can become a layer 2 and also a layer 3.
No, I said the hub. Listen, the hub is layer 1. Switch, we have switch like the 3550. Let me give you some of the model. The 3650, most of the legacy switches. Now all new switches are multi-layers. So 3550, 3650, 2960, all those legacy switches, and if I say legacy switches, end of life switches, they were designed for only layer 2. So you can't configure OSPF, you can't configure ERGRP, you can't configure routing configuration on them in terms of layer 2. But all the new switches starting from 3750, 37 is also old though, but that is multi-layer switch. 3850 is not that new, but that is also multi-layer switch. And then from here, any other switch you know relating to 93, 92, 68, 65, any other switch, they are all multi-layer, and they are on layer 3 as well, together with routers and firewall. So now you can continue.
So okay, so the question is, can a switch operate as a layer 1 device?
Yeah, hub, not a switch. It's not a switch. We have hub. Have I shown you hub? Okay, let me show you examples of a hub. Then maybe that will make sense to you. So let's Google. Okay, hub and switch. So hubs are managed switches. They are plug and play. So have you seen these hubs? Have you seen? These are not Cisco switches. So they are plug and play. So these are on layer 1. Okay, so they are not correct switches. So there is interview on hub versus switches. And let me see if I can get key above. Okay, so maybe this one will help. The difference between the two. Okay, so the difference between the two, hub is layer 1, okay, but switch is not layer 1, switch is layer 2. So you can use it as one of the example. Okay, so so we have your switch function on layer 2, hubs function on layer 1 of the OSI model. Do you get it? So that is what I mean by that. And this one you can use the rest for interview purpose. So this is a common question, the difference between a hub and a switch. Does that answer your question?
Oh, okay. Yeah, but I thought at the beginning you said like a switch can fall in the physical layer. So when you were explaining at the beginning.
So hold on. Now let me explain to you, and now I get a point you are making. Now, Warjack is not anything. You can't relate it in terms of it being on layer 2 or whatever. Do you get the point? Now, when we talk of physical layer, apart from the device working on that layer, any physical hardware is on layer 1. Now I understand your question. So I'm talking of a switch in terms of the hardware failure. Do you get it? But not the level that they work. The level that they work is different. Do you get the point? So maybe you got me wrong. What I mean is, even routers, in terms of physical, meaning that if router has a layer 1 issue, it means that there is no power. I'm not talking about the functionality, what level it functions on. Do you get it? But in terms of when we talk of physical layer, anything physical. So the switch, the physical component, if it's down, that is layer 1 issue. But if VLAN is not working, that is layer 2 issue. But we don't have a hub where VLAN is needed, so it cannot be on layer 2. Do you get the point I'm making? So the functionality is what I mean in terms of the device. But every physical component is on layer 2. So the hardware itself is what we call physical layer. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, good. Thank you for that clarification. Yvonne. Yvonne.
Yes, Prof. Yes, Prof. No, I was going to ask for the meaning of the TCP, but I think you said it's transport cabling ports or something. So I got.
I said it's what? No. TCP, I didn't say it's transport. Go and read on TCP. It's something I asked you in, and I said don't go for an interview without knowing this. Have you forgotten UDP and TCP? I'm saying that this protocol works on transport layer. That is what I mean. But TCP and UDP, I've said it several times, even it's on your spreadsheet. Common questions they ask on, have you all gotten your spreadsheet? If you have not gotten it, open it. It's there. You will see it there. So that is what I mean. Okay. Okay. Evelyn.
Yes, Prof. So at first you said the physical layer is to check your PC, your wall jack, your patch panel, and the switch. So now instead of the switch, we should put a hub, right?
No. So there are two things I'm talking about. So when I talk of devices, I'm talking about what, so we have devices and where they work, okay? Devices and where they work. A hub, a PC, or whatever, they are all working on a physical layer in terms of their functionality on the OSI model. Then switch is working on this in terms of its functionality, the purpose. But I'm saying that we're relating to issues that you resolve on physical layer. The condition of the switch is part of it because it's physical, okay? The condition of the cable is part of it because it's physical. Anything you see physical is part of layer 1 issue. So the wall jack, the condition of it, if it's not in good condition, if it's defective and all that, that is layer 1 issue because it's a physical one, okay? And then routers, even routers, if it's not working well, or if it's defective, or if it's dead, that is a layer 1 issue. Or if you lose power, we say that losing power is a layer 1 issue. But the device itself, in terms of its functionality, what it's capable of doing is dealing on layer 3 issues, because layer 3 is about IP address, it's about routing and all that. That is what I mean by that. Does that make sense? Okay, very good, very good. I have strong conviction when it comes to Evelyn on two things. When it comes to configuration, I have not been able to monitor you 100% in my mind of what you are capable of doing. But when it comes to communicating what you know, I have some belief within me that you will be very good in an interview. let these prayers be answered. Okay? Do your best. Do your best and make it be answered, because the way you ask questions and the way you find out information, it makes me feel like you get the concept well. I don't know why I think that way, but I'm hoping that the way I think is what it is. So make it work, okay? Make it work, because you communicate well. You ask correct questions.
Prof, she's a principal engineer in configuration.
That makes sense.
Yes.
That makes
Yes.
sense.
She was promoted yesterday.
She was promoted yesterday?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes. Government
beautiful,
giving us the
beautiful.
promotion yesterday.
Beautiful. I love that. I love that. You know, and one key thing about this role is communication. Knowing how to communicate is very, very key. So I really like that. Okay, good. Yes, George.
Yeah. So, Prof, based off question Evelyn was asking, a device can be in a layer 1 issue and at the same time layer 3. So because it's physical, like it's a physical device, it can find itself in a layer 1 category, and then maybe based off functionality and wherever it finds itself in the issue, then it could also play layer 3.
Yes.
Is that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Okay, good. Right. So now let's go to, so when it comes to OSI model, it's check. We have even spent 30 minutes on it. So don't come and ask me you don't know OSI model. Okay? Now let's go through how, so this one, first of all, before we even go into the common issues you have in real life, I'm giving process to follow in troubleshooting. What are the process you should follow, or what are the best practice when somebody report to you? How do you demonstrate that you know how to troubleshoot? Or what is your way of dealing with troubleshooting? How do you, what are your best practice relating to troubleshooting? Are you all getting the subject of discussion? Well, that is very, very key. Okay. Now, when somebody reports something to you, before you even think of doing anything, and this is what I always say to students to keep as a reference, understanding the issue is part of the solution. What it means is that if you don't understand the issue, you can never solve, no matter how good you are. So instead of thinking that you are so good and you want to resolve, you are not a magician. You have to understand the issue very, very well before you think of troubleshooting. So when you start working, work with that principle. When somebody reports and I want to go and solve it, do I really understand what the person is talking about? Are you all getting what I'm saying? That should be your first point of direction. Do you really understand what the person is talking about? Meaning that identify the exact issue and the problem, because most often when you get to understand it, there is nothing to be resolved. Do you get what I'm saying? But because you didn't spend time to understand the issue, and then because of that you think there is an issue, but there is no issue. Let me give you one typical example. Somebody says my computer is not working. Okay, your computer is not working. What exactly are you doing that is not working? He said, I don't know. You don't know. Then what do you mean by your computer is not working? Are you getting what I'm saying? Oh, for some reason the screen is blank. Oh, your screen is blank? So that is the reason why your computer is not working. Are you all getting what I'm saying? What it means is that asking detail, you realize that there is nothing to work. You tell them, go to the desktop people to support you. The desktop people go there, and his monitor PC, he doesn't know it has power, and the monitor PC has no power. So the monitor is blank. And because of this, you were worrying yourself that I've gotten ticket and I have to resolve. But do you know something? Because you don't have work experience, anytime you get ticket, you even don't want to ask questions. Your heart, you will be panicking. And I'm telling you real experience. The moment I get ticket, I say, there's an issue. And it's because at that time I had no experience. So even who is asking me to do something, he doesn't even know what he's talking about. But because I don't have my fact right, I can't even ask questions. I'm even afraid to ask questions. Sometimes somebody will ask me something, and when I'm getting information, he's afraid to ask questions. Then I ask him, why? You think I'm God or what? How do you think I can solve this issue for you when you don't give me information? So what it means is always try as much as possible to understand what they are talking about, because understanding the issue is part of the solution. That should be your number one principle. What it means is get enough information, okay, by asking detailed questions. And I'm going to go through checklist to be able to use to ask your detailed questions. What is not working? Why is it not working? When did it happen? How long have you noticed this? Have you reached out to the field support? Have they checked before? All those things, you get to know detail. Then based on all this, then now you can, based on the information you have, you can now localize and isolate the cause. Because if you don't understand the issue, how are you going to localize it? Somebody, you have a ticket in your queue, the computer is in Texas, and now you are dealing with a switch which is in Boston. How are you going to solve that issue in Boston? Are you all getting what I'm talking about? So based on information you gather, it supports you, one, to know the exact issue they are talking about, and then to know where to look out for answers from. And then once you localize it and you isolate the cause, it could be a problem with a single device. It could be a connection issue. So if it's a single device, it means that you will not think of switch. It's just a cable connection. Or it could be like a connection relating to cable because of the information you have. Or it could be that a software, the application is not working. Let me give you one typical example. Somebody is saying that, okay, I'm trying to open our project software and it's not working. Oh, it's not working? Okay. So if your project software is not working, are you able to access Gmail? It say yes. Are you able to open your email? It say yes. Okay, call the application team. Are you all getting what I'm saying? What are you going to do with a software not working the way it's supposed to work? Or I put in my information on the database that I'm working with, and then I get error. So you get error on application level. What has that got to do with network? So you not asking right questions, you see that you are dealing with things which are not supposed to be your role. But I'm going to go in specific, okay? So you don't even need to write anything. But I'm giving you a story of what you need to understand in order to solve an issue. Are you all getting the point? So understanding the issue, isolating the issue, how to isolate it, we'll get to that. Information questions to ask, we'll go through all that specific. Now when you get all this, then you formulate a network or you formulate a plan to solve it. And I'm going to show you how to solve all issues. That is your plan. So you don't call me that, how can I solve A? How can I solve B? Okay? Because I'm going to give you a checklist. I'm going to give you a plan to solve it. So there is nothing to talk about when it comes to that. Then the next thing is, which this one is very important when you are working, test and verify the program. Most often what we do is, when there is an issue and we are able to solve it, we think it should work, but it might not be working. And then you close the ticket. We are going to go through ticketing system. Then the user will see that, oh, Evelyn worked on this and he said the issue is resolved, but I cannot work with it. It's still not working. That is where they will start talking. You see that lady who just came in. She doesn't know anything. When you give her issue, it said it's resolved, but it's still unresolved. But even if it's not resolved and Evelyn was able to call the person, can you test again and let me know if it's working? Oh, it's working. The same person will say, oh, that lady who just came in called Evelyn. Wow, she is super good just because of phone call. Okay, or just because you are making the person to know that you have his consent. That is what we mean by customer service. Making sure that people, you are there because of people working on the computer. Remember this, network engineer job is not there if there is no users. So the PCs, the phones, the printers is the reason why you are there. So if they are not working, you have to make sure it's working before you say that everything is good to go. So this one, guys, is one of my working style that it makes people fight for me when I'm not even there. Sometimes somebody who that I've not dealt with will say that, oh, this guy I'm dealing with. Say, no. When it comes to Isaac, he's not like that. Maybe you have to take your time because you have been doing this with a lot of people. Okay? So ensure that the problem is fully resolved by checking with the person who reported the issue. So I'm giving you how you are going to work in terms of break and fix. Understand the issue, isolate the issue, then test whether the issue is resolved after you've got your plan to resolve it. And then this is what makes me hero, and I want you to use it in working, and that will make you a hero. Document, problem, and solution. So I have what I call working tools. And I'm going to give you an example of that. I create a folder and I open a notepad. So let's say today there was an issue that happened. So the issue that happened, I open my notepad. Then this notepad, I'm going to save it as the issue that happened. But I'm going to talk about the problem. And I'm going to talk about how I solve it. How the issue came about. Sometimes you can copy it from the ticket. How they reported the issue. And then the way you did to resolve this. Then you save this. This is what will make you a hero. Why am I saying that? There are things that you resolve that has nothing to do with network. And I'm giving one example. We had a wireless issue. Everything about wireless was totally down. We spent almost 7 hours to be able to solve the issue. After we solved it, I documented that. And it has been my working staff for everything. And it should be your working staff from the beginning now that you are dealing with. So I went on vacation and the same issue happened. And according to my boss, they have been on the call for almost 5 hours. Nothing was happening. Then he told them that no, let's get Ike involved. But he said he was struggling to call me because I was on vacation. So he tested me, are you available for just 5 minute call? So I answered him and I jumped on the call. Then I asked to know the issue. Then I save it as my archive file. That is the way I deal with it. Strange issue, I go there. Then based on the issue they were talking about, I was going through. Then I got to know it. I open it. I said, okay. If my memory, I didn't tell them I have a follow. Don't go and tell them that. I said, based on the issue you are talking about, I think we had a similar issue like that. And this was what we did to resolve. If you can do the same. So they did that and it was resolved. And he said, look, I told you that small head has a brain of everything. He knows all VLAN, he knows all IPs, he knows all issues. And we were wasting our time. But he doesn't know that I'm working with what? Strategy, guys. Work with strategies and you have your peace of mind. And this is the experience they are looking for. And you see that you go there, within short time, they say, Chestero, that guy is super good. But they don't know that Chestero is a 6-man product. Who you are is your own story. What you do is what the world wants to know. Do you all get what I'm saying? So yes, we know that you are a 6-man product, but your result is what will prove that you are more than 6-man product. That is why everybody needs a coach in life, in everything. And even in career specifically, we need a coach. If not, I was telling one student, I wrote 20 certification wasting my money because I didn't have a coach. I'm going to suggest only 6 important certification that can break your life, your life for good, and not go through the same mistake that I went through. Do you get what I'm saying? Because when you don't know something, you go through things that you are not supposed to go through. So to summarize this, I've given you OSI model. I'm also showing you what to do before you resolve, or what are your work process. How will you deal with issues when they are reported to you? What are you going to think about it? Are you all getting that? Any question on the process used in troubleshooting? Okay, so now you know the process you use, so you not call me and talk of something you don't know. Okay, so now I've given you the process. I'm going to show you method that you are going to use to troubleshoot. So now you know the process. When something happened, they report issue, the way you should go about it, things you should do. Okay, very, very important. Once you know that, now what method am I going to apply to achieve the result? And the method is what I mean by formulate a troubleshooting plan. So I'm going to go through all the plan you can use in order to resolve everything based on you understanding the issue and knowing where the issue is. Are you all getting the flow of what I'm saying? So what is the plan to design? There are 4 major plans I use in order to solve every issue. And if you use this, trust me, you are not going to have any issue whatsoever. One of the 10 is bottom-up approach. Somebody said that my PC cannot communicate to the internet. So this is my PC. It can't communicate to the internet. Now to get the internet, it has to come from the switch. So what I mean by bottom-up approach is from layer 1 before you go to layer 3. So you deal with layer 1 first, which has to deal with what? The physical layer. The physical layer means that check whether there is power to this. Check whether the cable is connected to the wall jack. If maybe the circuitry there, the high hill, the bottom of the hill is like this, and she's working, how can she not remove the cable? They do it all the time, disturbing the desktop people, you know. So now the cable is not well seated in the wall jack, and then you want to get access to the internet. It doesn't work that way. So what I tell my desktop people is I formulate plan for my desktop people about layer 1, and then I give them the things to check. So check PC power, check monitor power, check cable connection to wall jack, check cable connection from patch panel to the switch. So that is what I mean by bottom-up approach. So that would be layer 1. If layer 1 doesn't resolve the issue, then I come to layer 2. And layer 2 is this part. What will I check here? So what I will check here is this device on the VLAN that is DHCP, because this PC I know is DHCP. So if it's not DHCP VLAN, then you cannot communicate. Are you all getting the point? So you do your show interface status on this switch to see whether it's on the right VLAN. It's not in error disable port. Okay? And then there is also connection, which they have already approved that. It's not in error disable, or the port is not shut down. Now, if this doesn't resolve the issue, I will look at my trunk port. And this, I'm still on the bottom-up approach. On my trunk port, I will see whether, and all this, don't write them. I have them as checklist. So I have everything. Oh, you pay attention and understand, so that you don't call me. So I've seen that people are writing. Don't write. I have every checklist to follow. Then you check the trunk ports. And then trunk port, what are you checking? Is there allowed VLAN? If it's VLAN 40, has somebody removed it or is still there? If it's there, then it should work. Now, if all this doesn't resolve, then I go to layer 3. Layer 3, first of all, does it have the right IP? Is it a PIPA address or is it a static address? If it's a static IP, is it on the right VLAN? And then in terms of that location, is that network created on the router if it's a remote office, or is it created on a core switch? And if it's created on the router, is the routing okay to go to the data center, or is there ACL blocking it, denying it? You check all those things. If this doesn't resolve, then it's not a network. Then it has to be something else. But I know that this will answer the question that you are dealing with. And if it's not working, you can ask for second eye. I've done from layer 1 to layer 3. It doesn't seem to be an issue that I'm dealing with. So this is something I want you to also check about. And because you are talking right with your layer 1, layer 2, layer 3, the third engineer will understand that and also be a second eye to what you are dealing with. Maybe you missed something. Then he can also support you to deal with that. So bottom-up approach is very, very important. We have top-up and bottom-up. The top-up, I always say that it's good to know more before you deal with top-up. But the bottom-up makes it easier for you. The top-up means that you start from application to physical. But it's a waste of time. If something is not working, why don't you deal with physical first? Because if the connection is not right, the application will not work. Are you all getting the flow? Okay, good. Now, George.
On the case of APIPA, right? If so, when you find out, you notice that like it's expired. In that case, would you have to
APIPA has expired. Where did you learn APIPA being expired? Who said APIPA can expire?
Is it not a temporary IP?
No, APIPA is when DHCP is not working and you get 169 address. 169 address means that this is trying to look for DHCP service. It's not getting it. Then it self-assign its own IP. That is what we mean by APIPA address. Oh. You have forgotten, eh?
Well, I was thinking it's temporary. So then, like,
no. So you are talking of lease. Lease means that he has gotten the IP. That one, it will not give you connectivity issue. It will change the IP to another IP. So that is not the issue. APIPA 169 is the issue.
Okay. All right. Okay. I'll look in the notes again.
Don't look into the note. Understand it. We don't have time for notes. Understand. If you check the IP address of the computer and the computer is 169, it means that it's not getting DHCP. And it's not getting DHCP because of layer 1 issue. Why is it layer 1 issue? This cable has been disconnected. So where are you going to get the DACP from? Are you getting the point? So you still have to deal with layer 1, deal with layer 2, and then you come to layer 3 and your answer will be found around here. Does that make sense?
All right. Yeah.
So don't go and check anything, Masa. Make sure you are in line with what you are doing. Yes, Amy. And it's a long time I heard of Amy's voice. Amy has been silent for a while. So now talk.
I'm tired.
Yeah, I know. It's not easy. Getting to the end is always tiring, but that is where you should be motivated and energized.
Oh no, always. I'm always positive.
Very good, very good, very good.
So my question is more of a like if I was working. So if I end up if I'm working as a layer 3 engineer and I get a ticket and I realize it's a cabling issue, but I obviously, since I'm working as layer 3, that's not really my responsibility. Do I take care of that, or does that forward to the layer 1 engineer?
Yeah, you forward to that. But if you are dealing with layer 3, it means that there is layer 1, layer 2. You are not going to resolve any issue coming from layer 1. It should come from layer 2. It's a hierarchy because you'll be wasting your time. So this has to deal with... So these people have to deal with layer 1 issues, and then these people have to deal with the layer 2 issues, and then they will update the ticket with what they have done. So based on what they have done, you will know that layer 1 has been checked, layer 2 has been checked. So now you have to check the routing and the ACL and the IP configuration. Do you get the point?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So when it comes, so the ticketing system, is that like at random, or is that sent by the manager? Like, you know?
No, it's sent by the user. So we are going to go through ticketing system as a topic. I'm going to teach you the ticketing system, but it's sent by the user. This user doesn't, his computer is not working. So if his computer is not working, what he will create a ticket and it goes to the full support or the desktop queue. Then when it goes through, they go through the process I'm talking about. And if it doesn't resolve, they escalate the ticket to the network team. And the network team, if you have layer 1, layer 2, and layer 3, the layer 1 people will work on it first. If they are not able to resolve because they are not for layer 2, they will escalate it to layer 2. If it doesn't solve, then they escalate it to layer 3. But layer 3, what are you there for? You are there for routing, ACL, and all that. So you have to make sure that all these are not the issue before you focus on that. Does that make sense?
It does. Thank you.
Okay, good, good. So bottom-up approach, yes, Godfred.
Prof, before the issue gets to you on the layer 3 level, is it possible, how do you know if those people did not do their work well, those beneath you did not do their work well?
If they do what?
Maybe they didn't do the troubleshooting well.
Yes, yes. Sometimes it can be like that. Yes, it can be like that, that you have a lazy level 1 or level 2 person. So that is the reason why I'm teaching you all, because sometimes you have to work with them and you go through that scenario. Let me give you one example. So let's say this person said the PC is not working and he's telling me that he has resolved everything up to here. But this one, the IP address is static. So I tell him, give me the IP, give me the subnet mask, give me the gateway. He give you that information, but it's not working. But you know that it's not possible. If all this you've given me is correct, then it should work. You go here and tell him, okay, let me see the IP address there. Then you see that whilst he's typing, he made a mistake and wrote the correct one. And sometimes if I don't know whether they have that information somewhere, he will give you what is not there, you know. Then you see that it's totally different. So you have to know that if all this has checked, and what I've also checked so far, it should work. So if it doesn't work, I'll come back. You then follow the path back to see whether what they are telling you has been checked is truly checked. And then you get to know that he didn't even check the cable wall, and he's saying that it has been resolved. So yes, you can have that situation. Okay.
Okay, so when you have it, it's always advisable you go down again before
Yes, you go.
you
Yes, you
come for
have
the
to.
third eye.
Yes, before you go to the third eye. Yes, it's true. You have to get that aspect before you look for the third eye. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And before I go on to the next one, because right now we are talking about jobs, I like certain things to make sure that we have it right in your head. So I asked Amy, how are you feeling yourself? He said, what did she say? He said, I stay positive, or what do you say? What did you say? Amy, what did you say? You said you stay positive, or what? Or you said something.
That I'm always positive.
You are always positive. I love that.
Mhm.
And not
And I
only
believe in
and not
myself.
only positive. Let me add some to it. You stay true positive. They are false positive. They are true positive. So what I want you to keep, which I like it, and that is what works, is to stay true positive. What it means is that you are doing what it takes to do whatever you are supposed to do. You are doing it, and then you are being positive about it, and God should make it work. If you don't stay true positive, you can never make it. But there are people who stay false positive. He is not learning, but he's saying that, oh, the job will come. That is false positive. And I don't want anybody to finish the training and say, oh, prof service should be positive so the job will come. No, it will not come. Stay true positive, because every negative thought will come into your mind. There are negative thoughts. Sometimes it could be true negative, or it could be false negative too. So there are negative that will come into your mind. I've done, they say we should apply jobs. I'm applying 20 jobs, but the work is not coming. That is a false negative, or it's a negative thought. Take that one out and still stay true positive, meaning that do what, one way or the other, the universe will answer you. Do you all get what I'm saying? Because what we are doing is not the end of the game. The reality will set in after the class, but staying true positive is what is more important, and everybody should do that. Do what you are supposed to do as human. Believe in God, keep on doing it, and one way or the other, you don't know where it will come. I don't know where it will come. You also don't know where it will come. But one way or the other, that job will land and say, wow, it worth the time. But if you are not a positive person, Master, no matter how, it will not work. And if you are also a false positive person, which nobody should be false positive, then you are wasting your time. But staying true positive is very, very important. So when you said it, I forgot. But I like what you said, that as human, let's be true positive. Don't just be positive, but be true positive. And you see that that job is waiting for you somewhere. It will come. It will really come. Yes, Napo? I don't know how, but it will come. Napo?
Yeah, I know you did talk about all the layers from check from layer 1 to layer 3, get the third eye, and then from there, you know, that's not a network issue. So you probably pass it on to maybe application team. But has there been maybe a time whereby the application team also take a look at it, and it's not on your side as well? Where is it possible it can be maybe from
Oh,
the
yes.
ISP?
Yes. So, no ISP. For example, you say that it's not a network issue. The application guy says it's not application issue. I will not work with you again. I'll tell my boss, or I'll tell you, talk to my boss. Okay? And then you have to let your boss come in. And your boss will ask you, what have you done? And you tell me, and most of the boss who are very good on operation, when you tell him all your checklist, you will know that it's not a network issue. Or you've also got a second person to be part of the call. So I'm a network engineer. I'm saying it's not network. Another person has checked. He said it's not a network. Your boss has to make a decision, to make a way out. And this is where sometimes your boss will tell you, you know what, go and fix that issue, or you take that device out of the network. Okay, so it has happened several times, and it will happen several times. And that is the reason why I'm going to give you checklist, so that you don't say things you don't know. So everything I give you, check all before you say that it's not that. And then when you check all and the person is still insisting, tell them there is nothing you can do. You can't fix the application if you don't know how it works. So let me give you one example. There was an issue where the person said that he has a system somewhere. The system is to do update. So the update has to talk to a server, but he's not able to talk to the server to get the update from the server. So I asked him, are you able to ping from the system to the server? Is it possible? He said, yes, I've been doing pinging and it's working. I said, so you can ping to the server? He said, yes. Then I have nothing to do again. If it's pinging, that is what I can do as a network engineer. But he was still insisting that it was network. So I ignored him. He reported me rather to my boss. So your boss will call a bridge call. And then with the call, you tell him what you said. And as for IT personnel, they know the pinging. Oh, if it's pinging, then it's not network. So you tell him, oh, if it's pinging, so for this situation, I told him that, look, he said his system can ping the server. From my PC, I can ping his system and I can ping his server. So both devices are on the network. How his update will work has nothing to do with me. I don't know what to do with his update to work on the system. Then my boss got annoyed and he said, you know what? Go and deal with your situation and leave this person alone. You understand? So you can have that issue. That is the reason why there is a manager. And that is the reason why I said that there is an interview question that they will ask you. That if you have an issue with a subordinate or even a peer, or when you are working with a colleague and there is an issue, and you are not able to resolve among each other, how do you resolve it? And I told you escalate it, because you cannot instruct the person. He is not under you. Do you get it? So your boss, he is under him. He either do what your boss is saying or you will be sacked. And that has nothing to do with you. So that scenario is there. Okay? Okay, good. So that is the first method. Now let's go to the second method. So the second method is what I call follow the path. And this one is very, very important. So the first one is bottom up, meaning that you are dealing with all the layer 1, layer 2 issues to resolve the issue. Sometimes you deal with all this, the bottom up, but the issue is not resolved. You can do this, follow the path. And I'm going to give you one scenario. I had a device they had outside the building, let's say somewhere here. And then the device had something that was connecting to the network. And in the troubleshooting process, I didn't know that. So I did my layer 1 to layer 3. It was still not resolving. But when I do ping, I realized that maybe it was timing out here. I've forgotten the scenario. Or here, one of them. So what I did was, I said, okay, now I have to follow the path. So in following the path, I think that one was not even outside the router. Now I remember. So this is a switch. This is another switch. So it was, let's say, connecting to this switch. But there is a device here before the one that is supposed to talk to. So on my PC, you can't talk to this. Then going through the process, it's on the right VLAN. So if it's on the right VLAN, there is no error disabled. There is nothing wrong. The IP address is correct, but I can still not ping it. So I have to follow the path. So I asked him, from this device, does it connect to the wall jack? He said yes. And I said, are you sure it's connecting straight to the wall jack? He said, okay, hold on. There is a small device before the wall jack. Then I got to know that small device could be the issue. And I said, okay, that small device, what is it for? He said it's there for the vendor. And I said, can you determine if it's working? He said, no. Then I told him, call the vendor to solve this issue before we take care of it again. But how did I tell him to solve this issue? I made him to change this device. He removed this device and replaced with a laptop. And then assigned the same IP here. And when he assigned the IP, I could ping this. So that was where I realized that no, the follow the path should come in to see all the components involved. Are you all following what I just said? So following the path can solve a scenario like that, or it can solve a scenario where you also do a ping test and then you see where the packet is dropping off. That will also be very, very good. But knowing all the device involved to the end part is very key when it comes to what? Following the path. And that will show you where it's failing. So I've told you bottom up to resolve layer 1, layer 2, layer 3. You go through all the checklist I'll give to you. It's still not working. Learn to know how it's connected. Is it coming to the wall jack or going somewhere before the wall jack? And then in that situation, it means that that is something you have to follow to resolve. So that is what I mean by follow the path. Another thing we call is spotting the difference. And the spotting the difference could relate to routers, switches, PC, printers, or whatever, or services. What are the scenario of spotting the difference? So I have two remote locations. Everybody here have a good internet performance. The people here don't have a good internet performance. So let me spot the difference. Are the switch the same? Are the routers the same? Are they using the same operating system? Are they connecting to the same provider or not? Are they using the same internet pipe? If all are not the same, you cannot get it to be the same. Are you getting what I'm saying? So that is one example. I also gave you another example in the course of the training where they had a printer here. So let's say this is a switch connecting with two printers. So this is printer 1 and this is printer 2. Now this printer 1, they said is able to talk to a print server. But this printer 2 cannot talk to the print server. So I asked them, are they the same model? They say yes. Was this working before? He said no, it's just a new installation. And I said, okay, so what IP address are you using? So they gave me the IP address. It's different from the IP here. So how can it talk to the server? So I gave them similar IP here to be used here. Are you all getting the point? Let me also give you another spot, the different scenario. So there is two locations. I have Boston office and let's say Framingham office. When the desktop people are here, they say that they can do reimaging. I show you when I was teaching. When they come here, they can't do reimaging. So I then find out what network are you talking about. So over here, they are using VLAN 10. Over here, let's say they are using VLAN 20. Then I check how it's configured here, how it's configured here. Then I saw so many helper address on this, but here doesn't have the helper address. So I compared the two and I added the helper address. So it can be so many scenarios. So the first thing to use this method is it working anywhere? What you are complaining about, is it working anywhere? And only that location is not working. Then you have to spot the difference to see why it's working from A and not working from B. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, very good. Now, if all this doesn't work, this last part is my last method. And this approach, trust me, I'm putting my 15 years online. This fall will solve every goddamn issue. If only you understand what I'm talking about. Unless you don't understand what I'm talking about. What I mean is, if you've gone through everything and it's not working, replace the component. The component could be the router, it could be the switch, it could be the PC, it could be whatever. Let me give you one typical example. They had a printer here, a new printer. They connected it to this switch. I've assigned the VLAN. They have connected the cable. So layer 1 is okay. Layer 2 is okay. In terms of configuration, VLAN, everything. Layer 3, I've compared the IP, routing, everything is okay. But they are saying that the printer can still not ping. I followed the path. They are saying that the printer is connecting to the wall jack. They have checked the cables. The cable is okay. So what else can I do to resolve it? I will tell you, remove everything here. Connect your laptop to the switch. Assign the same IP on the switch. And then I will see if I can ping the switch. The switch is the PC is pinging. If the PC is pinging, everything here, I'm not involved with that. Did you get the concept of what I said? Or I should repeat it? Let me repeat it. Replacing the component. I'm giving you one scenario. You've done everything you have taught you, which means what have you done? You've done the bottom up. You've done the followed the how do you call it? Follow the traffic, okay? You've done the spot the difference. This will not even work with spot the difference because it's a new printer. Maybe it has nothing to do with something. So, but they are saying that it's not pinging. Not that it's spot the difference is always performance issue. Let me also say this. When I say you should use this one, it means that the system might be working by relate to performance issue most often. But in terms of pinging issue, you always will resolve it through the bottom up, follow up, or replacing the component. Because when I was talking about the guy who has something there, which was a vendor device, the only way I could resolve was I made him to connect straight to the switch. And if he's connecting straight to the switch, then the issue is not what? The network, is the device itself. Are you all getting the point I'm making? So sometimes you go there, you say, okay, it's not working, I'm here. You bring your laptop, you connect it to the switch, you assign your IP address, you ping your call. Have you seen that it's pinging? The people are IT people, it's pinging. Listen, network, if it's pinging, you are a pinger engineer. That is your, that is the whole job. You do nothing apart from pinging. And that is the reason why I say that network is the most peaceful career you can have. Any other thing, when you go to the industry, you see the number of tickets and the way they cry over there. Network, is it pinging? Oh, it's pinging. Nobody will call you again. So if I come there and it's pinging, I'll tell you, my friend, find your issue and resolve it. So that means that will what? Resolve the issue. Now, assuming I connect the PC and it's not pinging, it might be the switch. You can have a bad port. So I'll change the port to another port. And if that port is working, then that is not my issue. Are you all getting the flow of what I'm saying? So this discussion I'm having with you now is that anytime you have an issue, I've given you 4 different methods to approach. Use this. If it doesn't work, think of this. If it doesn't work, think of this. If it doesn't work, think of this. And I'm telling you that I've been in the industry for 15 years now and over. If this doesn't work, it's not networking. This is the fact. Now, tomorrow, I'm now going to go through the checklist to follow. If they say something is not pinging, whatever approach you are using, check this, check this, check this, check this. If I give you all this and you are still not successful, you were not born to succeed in network, because that is how far I can take you to. I don't know what else I should teach you. And it's the gospel truth, guys. It's the gospel truth. That is the reason why going forward 2025, I don't want to have a class where a student will not get a job. And this is the only thing that I will know. Either the student is not ready to listen to me, because if you don't listen, you will not get a job. But how do I determine that? So I say that in my one-on-one coaching class, you do beginners class. If you don't do well, I tell you, go and find something else. I'm not continuing with you. But I'm not going to do a group where you do whatever you are doing. And I will know it from first week, because we are monitoring everything you are doing. Your lab is being monitored. We are recording it. I'll spend time to review it, because I want what to give me a result. I cannot sit here 5 hours, 10 hours. You go home and you don't get job, and somebody will say somewhere and said, the man didn't teach you well. That is my integrity online. I'm not giving it to anybody again as a future student. So please, better listen to me and go and make result out of this, because I'm also not going to teach anybody in this class as a student again. I'm done with you. And if you don't succeed, that is your own cup of tea. So please make it work. It's the truth. Make it work. But let me tell you the truth. I have students who get a job within 2 days after the boot camp. I've had students who get a job within 1 week after the boot camp. Why? And I've had students within 1 year, they are not getting a job. Why do somebody get a job 2 days, somebody get a job, and in fact, some can even get multiple offers, and then they will call me, prof, I'm looking for only one offer. And David Walker will always be bragging with. And because of that, some people even don't want to share their success because people take it wrongly. Instead of being motivated with people's success, people then get offended with people's success. Human beings are very strange, to be honest. You see? And then you will say that David Walker is bragging because he has 4 offers. And me, I'm not getting one. And every day he's coming. And because of that, you are not joining the group again. How can you succeed? You can't succeed with a group. Alone is what you succeed. No, it doesn't work that way. But please, these are 2 videos I've shared. I'm going to put it, everything I have on the membership page. I said forget about it. Focus on only wireless. I'm going to take some of the videos away. But there are 2 videos